Let's meet in order with the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Paul Jendersky, absent. Jamie Kendall,
Present.
Darcy McSwain,
Present.
Ed Tiedoff,
Present.
Michael Nesbitt,
Present.
Kathy Harris,
Present.
Troy Freed is absent.
Any adjustments to the agenda?
Please add item G, 608 West Bell.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the addition.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Any announcements, public comment? Nobody? Wow.
I just say congratulations to all the winners.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, congratulations to you.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
Spicer engineer report,
Coming up a little sooner than I thought I would.
right?
Jinx it.
Kick things off with the TMF side of things, and then I'll leave Mark to do the rest of the updates. TMF grant wise, we're just moving along with locating remaining curb boxes. DPW obviously a very busy time of year for y'all. We're working on it, but have a lot of time in that grant to get those located and get things out to bid there. Helped out the village with submitting everything for the system materials inventory with the state requirements. So big Excel sheet with every address and service material. And then Hart got to stuff a bunch of envelopes, sending out notifications to any resident in the village who has either an unknown water service material or a galvanized steel. They would have gotten a nice generic letter that has some information. Obviously with the TMF grant, we're going to be verifying all those unknown services. So a lot more to come there, but yeah, a lot of envelope stuffing this week.
So after that, we should be, how close would we be to verifying almost every address in the village?
We should have every address
Which is
verified.
incredible to think about in a very short time, which puts you ahead of all the other municipalities in the state. So now you can go after grants that they'll be going after TMF or
Yeah.
TMI, and we'll be going for other things. So
Yeah.
a nice advantage to have.
Yeah, and then we'll be submitting a grant application for funding to actually replace any galvanized or lead that we find. So that's TMF side.
Okay,
Thank you.
Mark Norton with Spicer. Few of the other projects we have going is the Code of Ordinances update with the Planning Commission. We met last month and went through 3 chapters. Next week we'll get together again and probably go through two more chapters. They're pretty long, so it might take some more time. But we're getting through those pretty well. It's kind of a 2-year project, and I think we'll have to be through all the chapters once, I think this first year most likely. On the 2025 water system improvements, we're still working on the rural development application and getting through those items. It's gonna probably take a little while, like we talked about before, for a spring bid. I believe it was last council meeting, you guys approved the Safe Routes to School project. We went out and got all the topography we needed to pick up for that, and our designers are working on the surveyors and designers are working on right-of-way locations, so we can get, base plans set up and get going on those, so
And
that's
for
moving along.
down Ithaca, the right away, Armor Trout doesn't have anything. So
Right.
And
So
so
those
I,
are some of the items, and sometimes they'll say, okay, I was just doing a project in Midland County, and they said, assume 33 foot each side of the center line of the physical road.
so I reached out to a few people and they all pointed me to him and I was like, well, he's already said he doesn't have any
Yeah.
information on that, so I think that's what we should probably do.
Yep. Yeah, they'll do that. I'm sure they'll do that route. So. And then everything. Okay, and then they have water system number 1 improvements. We've got some remaining punch list items to still be addressed. There's some additional paving that'll be completed on Marcy Street due to some damage that happened there from the project, and then also some additional water service replacements will happen in the next few weeks.
So we had contingency left over, $140,000, so we're gonna do more paving within the scope of the project as long as it's the same amount, that was bid out. And we can replace lead and galvanized service lines up until using it, so, the debate was to put that 140 towards the principal interest, but you can't do that for 7 years, so we could let it sit in the bank for 7 years, but what interest is it really gonna accrue over 7 years? Not a ton, so we figured we might as well use it and do more work than, at the bid price that we got, and try to complete as much as possible, so that's what we chose to do.
Yeah, that's the better way to go, because all the work that you'll get done today in 7 years is gonna be that much more money, so the interest you get by it sitting in there will be not worth anything, so. That's all I have for now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any
Thank you.
questions or anything? Okay.
What about the sidewalk and boulevard removal in Saginaw Street? Is that,
They supplied quotes for that, DEA has not decided to move forward with that. I believe it was $700,000 to remove the boulevard, which would wipe out, that's more than their budget has. I have all the quotes if you'd like them.
and that's just from the light to
That's to remove it?
remove everything?
Yeah. The sidewalk's like
From the
200,000.
light to Hosmer?
Correct.
Okay.
The DDA has agreed to pave it from 52 to Hosmer though, and paint new lines on it and make sure it's, hopefully done by Old Fashioned Christmas. As a goodwill gesture towards the village.
Council minutes approval for October 9th, 2024.
I'll make a motion we approve the St. Charles Village Council minutes of the October 9th, 2024 meeting.
I'll support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Commission and committee reports. Downtown Development Authority, November 1st, 2024.
So this root ball situation,
Yeah, so there's a blockage. One of the blockages is in the Downtown Development Authority's right away or in their district, and they have agreed, again, as a goodwill gesture towards the village council, they will pay half of the cost to remove the root ball.
okay. When will that be done?
We will let them know if it gets approved tonight.
Okay.
Are we thinking about doing it the method I see that this copper sulfate?
No,
Or-
it's unsafe for rivers and streams,
Okay.
but it's a good practice if you're a farmer or an Isle Royale and you're rural. I guess it's an old trick that a lot of farmers use
Okay.
at their own homes, but
Mhm.
Eagle would not approve.
Okay.
Okay.
But I know there's people that do it. Yeah, so it'll take out root balls in like 70, 80 years, just kills them. But it's not exactly safe for the
So
environment.
what will they use then to,
They're gonna cut it open and go after it.
okay.
Doesn't mean it won't grow back in 3 years, but we'll address that when it happens.
I'll make a motion to accept the DDA minutes, November 1st, 2024.
I'll support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Parks and Recreation Committee, no parks meeting. Planning Commission, October 17th, 2024.
So the haunted house is finally gonna be built, huh? Is that what the plan is?
We are in discussions.
Well, I'm glad they admitted that it's not in good shape and something needs to be done. I worry about someone getting hurt. I'll make a motion to accept the planning commission minutes of the regular meeting, October 17th, 2024.
I'll support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Communications, item A, local government law enforcement red flag.
Just information for local governments regarding the new state red flag law, that if you're high risk, you're limits to your ability to obtain a firearm. Shows you the confidence that, police chiefs, officers, managers, and councils have for the law of actually making change, but it's always interesting to read.
How do you feel about this, Chief?
Right now, the only checks we have is just based on what's in our state and local, local and federal level charges. So it's just what it's doing, I think it's adding more things to the list of what can keep you from buying a gun. So, I'm all for it, more checks the better, you know, it's a privilege to have a gun, so you should have to jump through hoops to get one. And for a while, it's been pretty easy, so.
With a constitutional right.
How would they determine if they're able to have one or not?
That's what's in there, it'll be flagged by, when you run them through the system. I'm not quite sure exactly how that's gonna work out, but when I run them through my system with their name, and, you know, you enter their information, submit it, and then it kicks out a lien traffic that I gotta look through every one of them, and it'll have a flag that comes up and says, this is why. So then, from what I understand is you will then explain to that person what this is, and then they have to go to the courthouse and figure out why it's there, or how to get rid of it, or how to take care of it before they can buy it. Purchase a gun, or actually just get a
Is the doctor gonna
permit.
determine that they should have it or shouldn't have it, or it should be on this list?
Don't know yet. That's the thing that's the one thing we're looking at right now is who's gonna make those determinations of they can't, you know, and which ones are viable and which ones are just cause it, you know, what doctors are capable of making that assumption. That's still in discussion.
Well, my thought too was, what if an officer goes to a house to pick up that gun, cause he's ordered to,
It's another thing is
and
who's
they
gonna
don't
go
give
get
it
them?
up?
Who's gonna go get them,
Yeah.
you know? Not too many people are, you know, we're not about going door to door and knocking on doors and saying we need to take your guns. Nobody's about that, so.
Right.
There's still a lot of discussions going on with that, and we've discussed a little bit in the Chiefs meeting, and nobody's happy with doing that, so.
Okay, I wouldn't.
No.
Either. Is there been any training in Saginaw County for this?
Not yet,
No?
still doing that.
An individual under the Constitution has a right to have that and have a hearing and be
Right.
showed through the hearing first before you can take these steps.
I would think that, I haven't had the concrete stuff yet to know, that's why it's not, like,
It's not very clear.
we're not enforcing yet, it's still at the newer stages.
And, well, yeah. See what happens.
I wondered too, you go to their house to pick up that gun,
Nobody's
and
going
they
to
say,
houses.
no, I'm not gonna,
Nobody's going to houses.
Okay.
It's not
Okay.
clear, it's a bad law, poor public policy, but that's.
We
what-
didn't support it.
That's
Yeah,
a, that's a
okay,
Lansing,
good,
that's a
okay.
Lansing issue, I just wanted you guys to have it.
okay,
Chiefs Association didn't support it, so.
okay, good, that was my opinion too.
I think things may change here.
I don't see any good way to handle that.
County of Saginaw user fees, SCCJCC.
So this is the, funds that, we go to for the computers that are in cars and the services that go with it. And every department, every village, every township puts money into this account so that every so many years we get new computers for the in-cars and the programs that run it. So we don't individually have to pay for that. It's the, basically 911 and one of their personnel's in there handles all of this. So the problem is that prices are going up for these equipment, and to keep track with that, they are upping that price, because right now with the way the fund's set, I think they said in 5 years they're gonna be out of money. So they're upping these prices, and I think it's, did I give you the list?
Yep.
What it is, and you guys have that list there, what the prices are? It's
Yep.
like gonna go up a little bit
So it
every
won't-
year.
It won't change in the state fiscal calendar for next year, but, in '26, it'll be $2,000, fiscal year '27, $2,500, and fiscal year '28, $3,000. So,
That's to slowly bring it up to where they can have a bank in case something else happens and they have to get something else. But it provides all the stuff for the computer systems in our cars for the entire county.
the note I would put on this is just remember this come budget time. Make sure it's not gonna change next year, but in years.
And we are getting, the entire county's getting brand new computers and modems, and they're gonna have them put in December, January-ish, and they're all gonna be done at M&R, so. We'll get our time slots, and so you gotta have your cars at this M&R at these times to get your computers and new stuff put in.
I talked to Kelly Supis about this, and she said that they kinda had the same situation with this that we had with our water bill. So many years, nothing was, prices weren't going up when they should have been.
Subsidizing it
Yeah,
out of the general fund or other funds.
Well, for the longest time, they were saying in the meeting that, they were used to get donations, which kept it up. Well, those donations have kinda gone away, or not as much as they used to, so they've gotta go by other means to keep that funding up so we can keep our equipment up to date.
okay.
Payment of claims. I'll make a motion to approve the payment of claims in the amount of $200,776.46.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? New business, item A, Smith Bogle.
Well, last month I brought you Smith Bogle, and I went reaching out to the other municipal law firms. Here's what I got back. Bill Smith of Frankenmuth Bridgeport is retiring as well, and he said I had the village about decades ago, and I'm all set. Matthew Tarrant of Braun Kendrick. left a voice message with his secretary, spoke with her, they seemed interested, we were gonna send over a proposal, but never did. I check my spam folder every day, and then Smith and Broker are not interested. So, came down to Smith and Vogel. I thought it was pretty funny that Bill Smith, yeah, I'm retiring too, but I had you guys years ago. That's not how he talks. So we do need approval to move forward, January 1. We will probably be putting Smith Vogel on our USDA RD application as the law firm, which is required by the federal government, just in case there's any issues with right-of-way, property issues down Ithaca or cutting behind the school as well as the apartment complexes. But like I said, they're very good. One of the best in the industry outside of Grand Rapids, Detroit, and Lansing.
Yeah, they seem like they're pretty qualified. I'll make a motion that we approve Smith Vogel village attorney.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Item B, city sewers quote.
Well, we want to address the root ball issue. I had Jason Thurston come to the DDA meeting, explain it in great detail, did a nice job. It cost us about $4,067.50 to last time they came out. Without board approval, this will give us board approval to address the root ball issue and hopefully help some of the drainage issues on Hosmer, over by Mr. Botts as well. We'll see what that does for drainage.
For this house McPhail's area too.
That's the goal. It'll help the downtown for sure, with one of the root balls heading out that way, and then it should help Mr. Bott and McPhail. That's what we're being told.
That's the hope.
That's the hope. As I mentioned, the
I think it's
DDA,
$4,800, that's for 8 hours of cleaning and camera work. So we're gonna use up that 8 hours and get as much as we can.
and DDA will pay 50% as, again, goodwill gesture, and because it's within the district.
We're gonna start where we know it's at, and we're gonna move to where where else we know it's at, which is Chestnut Street. That's the biggest part, that's what we're gonna keep. We're gonna get 8 hours out of it.
No breaks.
No worries.
Oh, my God.
Speed up, boys.
I get behind him with a siren.
There you go. Might need some props.
Well, it's gotta be done.
Make a motion. Do we have to approve this?
Yep,
Okay.
and Bart and I were talking that going forward, just as a good practice in the budgetary process, we should set aside a certain amount of dollars every year. We should go back truck certain areas that we know are problematic
Have this stuff done.
in the spring, and that should save us in the fall. So we've got a list going of just little things that we think DPW and the village could be doing a little bit better to address some of the issues. So take a proactive approach with new leadership and see how it helps.
I'll make a motion to accept city sewers quote.
I support.
Any roll call?
Paul Jenderski's absent. Jamie Kendall,
Yes.
Darcy McSwain,
Yes.
Edgar Titoff,
Yes.
Michael Nesbitt,
Yes.
Kathy Harris,
Yes.
and Troy Freed is absent.
Item C, direct deposit policy.
I mentioned last month I'd bring this forward for going forward, new hires, direct deposit or some kind of card, just to end fraudulent behavior, cut down on checks. There's a lot of municipalities in the county who are getting dinged for $80K. People would find a check stub in the garbage, or somebody had already mobile deposited, and try to recreate it, and it puts a hold on the account. I think it's $88,000 within the county that they're trying to get out of a village. So This is a way to stop that. It is 2024. I think this will help. There are state laws, federal laws that allow that we will be within to follow the rules and laws. But you know, we're hiring a new part-time officer to try to get more coverage, and I think this is where we start.
Have you talked to anyone, any other municipalities that might use those cards?
I haven't, but they have to request it. It's pretty easy to do. It's just like a gift card type deal, like a Visa gift card. You put it on there, and
Just wondered how many, I guess it wouldn't
it's
matter either way,
well,
but,
you could probably even split your check or direct deposit X 50% here, and then you could request, you know, if you want to buy golf stuff and hide it from your wife or something. Just an idea.
That's why I get a check.
But going forward, going forward.
I call Jesse when I get home.
Yeah, so
Check every week.
it just modernized the process and makes it easier for us.
It's okay.
I just wondered how well the card thing was.
I haven't never heard of anybody doing the card thing before.
There's state employees and federal employees that'll do that, but it's very rare.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 24-8.
I'll support.
Roll call.
Paul Jenderski's absent. Jamie Kendall,
Yes.
Darcy McSwain,
Yes.
Edgar Titoff,
Yes.
Michael Nesbitt,
Yes.
Kathy Harris,
Yeah,
and Troy Freed is absent.
Item D, new welder.
Being a good steward of public taxpayer funds, we want to bid out as much as possible, and we probably will have to come up with a procurement plan or policy before we submit our USDA-RD federal application, so we're working on that. Mitch and I have about 4 or 5 municipalities that I really like if we want to go generic. Obviously, there's some that you can reward local bidders. If it's not from St. Charles, you can do area, then you can do county, then you can do regional, but the intent is to have some kind of procurement or purchase policy in place. So with that said, going forward, DPW's welder is going down and we need to replace it. I don't know much about these. I figured a couple of you might know a little bit more than I, and if there's one in particular that you prefer, please let's help them fix their equipment.
but I don't know any more than you do.
And maybe Bart wants to make a request, or is there a preference?
I put up the models that are comparable to what we have. There's a low, a medium, and a high. I mean, and we're looking at the one in the middle of the road.
Power
there's
MIG,
some-
the Power MIG 211i.
Whatever one it was.
Yeah, that's
I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's been a while, but, yeah, we can pay anything you want for a welder, but we're just getting one that's comparable to what we had, and it lasted 20 years. It went down about 4 months ago. Now we're getting into the time of year where we want to start patching up our mowers and stuff, and we need one. We have a stick welder, that's good for heavy stuff, but it burns through that thin metal, you just can't use it.
Is there a difference with quality between the two? Or 3, I'm sorry.
I don't remember what they were. They're all very comparable, it's basically a name thing.
Okay.
I compare shopped with everything, and that's why I did it this way. I don't know if there's a price on this one. Is there a price on there?
On the last one?
Yeah, that's
1900.
Okay.
35.
And that's why I did it that way, cause basically those are just their names, and the welders are basically, the specs are the same.
Their metal welder.
And I didn't even put a Lincoln up there because it was like $900 more than the highest one.
Yeah.
Whoops. The Miller-Matic is actually on sale. It's like $500 off. I mean, I know it's $1,900, but
Big bang for your buck, right?
Mhm.
it's just $300 rebate.
Yeah.
What I heard Mr. Kendall say is you get what you pay for.
Mhm.
Yep, that's true.
That's true.
Especially in something like that.
Yeah, I mean,
It's got elements and just,
we're not looking for the most expensive
What
one, or
brand
the
do you
least
have now?
expensive one. You remember Tyler, like Lincoln?
Yeah.
Lincoln, and that was.
That was the most expensive one, but it lasted 20 years.
But it lasted 20 years, exactly.
There wasn't a rebate on that one?
Huh?
There wasn't a rebate on the Lincoln?
I don't know, 20 years ago. I don't know.
and there's a free gift.
And there's a free gift.
You get a free mat while they're trying to have fun.
Did you know what it, the rules of it.
I know.
My son's a welder, but I,
Yeah.
I don't know how much it's it says 3 weeks of an inch, I don't know what this is gonna do, I mean, it's got a 3-year warranty on it. Those, the 1900 one, so if it craps out or does something, at least you got 3 years, you gotta
That
stand by
one's,
it.
that one's got a 3-year.
Yeah,
so we have to decide on this tonight, this one of these three?
Winter's coming up and we're
Yeah.
gonna need to fix some
I
things.
think so.
Gonna start patching up motors and patching up everything. And trucks and.
I'd be fine with the, $500 off, cause I do agree you get paid
Right.
for it. Makes sense.
I don't know anything about motors.
Neither do I, so it's just relying on
Any,
to know.
any comment back there, Tyler?
Spacer,
Any
are you guys
comments?
familiar with some?
I don't know anything about
They spec'd out exactly with what we have, it's just name, most of it. Some of them are a little different, they're all about the same.
You're not helping any. I would say.
Well, then we want a Lincoln.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
Give them a look then.
I don't know if I can put one of those up
You
there
did not.
for that much more.
Well, I would say the 13 or the 19.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I agree.
I know Miller is the Mason.
Yeah, they're,
Can I just ask a short question? How much money are we talking here? What's the difference between the three?
$600.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had a Lincoln, it lasted 20 years, get a Lincoln.
Well, Lincoln's
Well,
more
but
than
that-
Yeah,
that's
what
not
did
even
you
up
say?
there.
Yeah, what did you say it was?
Yeah, that's a different.
It's not
Lincoln
on
was
the
like
different
$1,000
Lincoln.
more.
That wasn't an option.
Yeah, that one.
Thank you.
I mean, this power
You're
main
not talking a lot of money.
under Lincoln Electric, is that like a?
2,000 or less.
we can look at probably owns them all.
Yeah, that's-
Right.
Right.
Like Cupcake.
It's like, yeah, or a Maname tag.
I can go up on my phone. I just gotta get the specs.
Callahan brake pads.
Does he want to do that?
That's what I was trying to look over right now.
That's right. Does he just, does he?
It's a lot more.
does he like,
You get $300 rebate.
You know what the size of that is?
I can get the size of
do you want to pull it up real quick?
That's what I'm trying to do. 11.
I'll make a motion for the Miller-Matic 211 MIG welder with advanced blah 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 for $19.35.
Well,
Sorry, it's cut off, I can't read it.
Roll call.
So this one for
Um,
Lincoln is $13.49.
The Lincoln is?
It's the same price. as
Same one,
Power Mig.
1549.
That's the middle one.
Yeah.
Power Mig, is that made by Lincoln?
Yeah, that's the middle one.
Yeah, Power Mig is made by Lincoln.
Okay.
So if you go with the middle one, it's the same company that lasted 20 years.
This one, yeah.
There you go.
So we did not,
Do
so
we,
this
do
one,
we want to redo that?
Then we
motion?
can just, or we can just go through, just vote it down, then they have another motion and get the middle guy.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, that, because we've already seconded, so we can shoot it
Yeah.
down.
Roll call.
Paul Jenderski's absent. Jamie Kendall,
No.
Darcy McSwain.
No,
Edgar Tito,
No.
Michael Nesbitt.
No.
Kathy Harris, and Troy Freed is absent.
We can do it right in the middle.
My phone wouldn't go fast.
Okay. So we know which one we're getting. Anybody wanna do that one?
So I'll make a
There we
motion to, purchase the Power MIG 211i MIG welder.
I'll support. Roll call, please.
Paul Jenderski's absent. Jamie Kendall,
Yes.
Darcy McSwain,
Yes.
Edgar Titoff,
Yes.
Michael Nesbitt,
Yes.
Kathy Harris,
Yes.
and Troy Frida's absent.
Well, that worked, that's all we wanted.
That's all you had to say.
right.
This is what we need, not what we need.
Item E, West Bell Ave.
524 West Bell. Mr. Hessian purchased the property. If you recall, it was burnt and in terrible condition. He's purchased it and tried to fix it up, and is requesting an $1,800 reimbursement for his services to connect the water line. Spoke with Mitchell from Spicer. There was another inhabitable building not that far away, and he said we ran the water line all the way there. I don't know why we wouldn't do it for that one. But as you can see in his email, the village is not responsible for the water service on private property. During the project, we did replace letter galvanized water services. So the first question we need to figure out or find out is, can you tell us what the service line was? Which we have not gotten an answer. I was hoping he'd be here tonight. But this is a decision for you to make on whether or not you think this is the right thing to do based on the information you have.
I'd like to know what was in the ground before I make a decision about that. If it was something that would need to be pulled up, I get it. But I want, like, confirmed from the company that he used, like, can you tell us what you pulled out? Was there any contact before you went through this with the village, like, hey,
That's what I thought.
is, you know, cause he knows there's a water project, and didn't contact the village about, hey, did, you know, and then just went with the company?
I don't know that he even owned it when we did it.
Okay.
And then he went right to Gary Campbell, our village attorney, rather than here. So he shows up and is requesting $1,800, so.
I'm willing to bet he didn't own it, right?
Is
I
that,
don't
is
know
that the
when
pink
he
house on
took
Pavilion?
possession of it, I don't know that it was owned at that time.
I don't believe it was.
I don't think so either. The house was burnt,
Hmm.
we ran it to the property line, we didn't run it in the house, of course, cause to what? It's a burnt house. That's where we stopped.
I remember seeing Tito walking around the side of that, trying to remember where he put the line at. I remember that, cause I was running traffic that day. He was at that burned out house, and I saw him walking around back and forth. So they were there doing stuff.
I mean, we couldn't run it to the house, cause we couldn't leave a meter because it wasn't a house.
It's a delicate situation because you don't want to set a precedent that is unwarranted.
I'd like to see documentation of, like you said, what material was there before? Would it need to be replaced anyway, or?
I mean, we could call CM Excavating and see if they recall.
Is there a reason why he wasn't here tonight?
I responded to his secretary, let her know it'd be on the agenda for discussion.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I agree with Mike, I'd like to see more information before we decide on this.
But even if it was bad piping, there's nothing there, so at that point in time, you know what I'm saying? You're running, like you said, pipe to what?
Nothing.
To nothing.
Right.
Burnt out house.
I mean, there's homeowner expenses.
Mhm.
But if it was letter galvanized, we're responsible.
Right,
then
that
what we
was
do.
what I'm going based on what Mitch's email response.
Yep.
If it's letter galvanized,
But
we
it was
would have
coming off a
replaced it.
brand new main anyway, so it would have always been new if it was a house that was standing. So,
So the likelihood of it
all of
being
the
one of
old was
those.
gonna be eliminated because new main ran through. So I don't know how that would. We did leave a service there, but you couldn't run it in the house because there wasn't really a house to run it to.
Right.
Burnt down. Well, not down, but gutted.
And anything to, like,
And nobody
The
owned it
main-
at the time.
into the,
So-
and anything to the main, to the house is the owner's responsibility, correct?
From the
From the
curb box.
From the
Shut
curb
up.
box, yeah, sorry, apologies.
Curb box.
Curb box to the house, that's homeowner's responsibility. Eh?
Unless it's-
Help me out, guys,
Yeah,
unless it's
unless
letter
it-
galvanized.
Unless it's
Right.
letter
Right.
galvanized, then we're responsible for
Right.
18 inches into the house.
Into
Yeah.
the wall,
That's why we're
right.
trying to figure out
So-
the material.
Mhm.
And that's
That's the
the
shaky
question.
part. Was the old stuff bad? Okay, but now there's new stuff.
Can this be tabled until we get more information? I'd like to know exactly, I feel better about a decision if it was a documentation, or somebody could write a statement or something from the company. This is what we saw, this is what we pulled out.
And he bought the house in September of '23. It was already done. Way done, you know.
I'm only wondering if he just took it upon himself to go ahead and do it and then came back later and said, hey, I want.
That's
So this
my
is,
concern,
this
they
was
didn't contract
finalized
the
in
village.
February 6th of 24, right?
Yeah. Final payment was in February. So he shows up in October wanting a refund. Maybe we should have something in the code of ordinances, the amount of time you have to file
Yeah,
a.
it didn't seem that pressing, you know, after you cut the check, it seemed like I'd be talking to somebody a little faster than 5 or 6 months. And say, oh, by the way,
When was the last time he communicated to you?
Pardon?
When was the last time he communicated? Was that October 17th? Was the last time from the email?
the 24th, or was it?
Let me check. He hasn't been back in. It would have been my response
The
to
15th.
Sue, his secretary, on the 15th. Or no, the 18th, Friday the 18th at 9:48 a.m. Sue Seeley. I CC Gary Campbell as well.
It's been almost a month.
You know, I don't know if there was a concern or something on his plate or something, but it seems like if this was gonna be on
So
the schedule of the agenda, you'd wanna be here and discuss that.
But he's saying the village installation of new water pipes did not connect the new water pipe to the main. And we're saying that didn't happen, essentially. We're saying we attached it all the way to the curb box,
Right, that would be.
like we have the entire project.
We had to have hooked into the main or we wouldn't have water. It's a brand new main.
So, there's the.
So if we make a motion to deny and it comes back that it was ladder galvanized,
Then, we move forward with reimbursement.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that you could put that in the motion.
Yeah.
Without knowing, I mean, motion without knowing, deny it.
Yeah.
But should we find out in the coming days from CM Excavating that it was letter galvanized, I approve up to $1,800, I approve the $1,800 reimbursement, something along those lines.
fair enough.
But what he's saying is not true. But at the same time, it could be our responsibility. I don't believe it to be true, let me just say that.
I'll make a motion to deny the $1,800 reimbursement pending further proof or information of lead galvanized piping. Up
Support.
to $1,800.
I'll support that.
Roll call.
Paul Jenderski's absent. Jamie Kendall,
Yes.
Darcy McSwain,
Yeah.
Edgar Titoff,
Yes.
Michael Nesbitt,
Yes.
Kathy Harris,
I'm gonna say no, because I think he should have at least been at this meeting.
and Troy Freed is absent.
I think if he's concerned enough that he thinks we should reimburse him, you know, one way or the other, I think he should have been at the meeting tonight.
I didn't.
Hmm? Doesn't seem too concerned about it.
Item F, Village of the Living Dead property.
Well, we've been working on this for many years, and we are finally getting close to a purchase agreement. I'm working on that right now. We're looking for deed information. We split lot lines. GIS didn't properly split them. It's supposed to be the village keeps the water tower, they get the property. They came to the planning commission last month. They would like to tear down the entire building to the studs and rebuild the haunted house safely. Long time coming. It'll get them off of our insurance, which is, not a huge savings, but it's a huge liability.
Right.
And so I was hoping to have that information tonight, and start talking, we've spoken in the past about selling it to them for $1, just to get it off of our insurance. We've worked on the zoning with them, so it's B2 commercial, so they're good there. I think they have the funding to move forward, and so as soon as we have the deed and the lot lines fixed, I think we can finally move forward with that. Think about how you wanna proceed, but it would put it in the hands of the Village of the Living Dead property and keep them downtown and keep the business afloat on their own. So I don't know, $2, whatever you want.
Right.
If, a fair market value, I don't know what you're thinking on that, but, we've always spoken in the past just to get it off of our liability and to make sure it's safe for everybody to use.
I don't know, but I told them all October wearing that latex mask to buy it for $1. So,
Well, you didn't shake on it.
nope, nope.
So hopefully next month we'll have something and they can start rebuilding and make it better and scarier than ever.
He said down to the studs, so they're gonna keep the existing structure.
I'm not sure of all their plans, but, because it's B2 commercial, the lot lines are set, they can go bigger, they can go all the way almost up to the lot line, so, and make it really nice.
That's what I'm thinking. Come on. It's brick.
I'll make a motion, we sell it to the Village of the Living Dead for $1.
I'll support that.
Roll
Get it
call.
off our hands.
Paul Jenderski absent. Jamie Kendall,
Yes.
Darcy McSwain,
Yes.
Edgar Titoff,
Yes.
Michael Nesbitt,
Yes.
Kathy Harris,
Yes.
and Troy Freed is absent.
I think this helps the fire department as well.
I'm sure they'll be.
Item G, 608 West Bell Avenue.
Mr. Sproul has been here the last few months. He spoke with me in the office regarding his sidewalk and water built up. Mark Norton met with him, I believe, October 14th to discuss the issue. We do have pre-construction photos and post-construction photos, and we have the assessment of what we think it is. It is not our belief that it is phase one caused this. As you see the huge downspouts from each neighbor pointing towards that area. That said, our current code of ordinances for the village, construction and repair of sidewalks is the duty of the owner. There's a resolution to construct a repair that we can put on him, but as of right now, wherever the village council shall determine that it is necessary for the public health, safety, or welfare that a sidewalk be constructed adjacent to or abutting any premises, or whenever the village council shall determine that any existing sidewalk in a state of disrepair, it shall adopt a resolution requiring the construction and repair thereof, and shall, in such resolution, direct the owner of the premises adjacent to, abutting, to construct or repair such sidewalk within a specified period of time, which shall not be less than 15 days to repair or 30 days for new construction of the day. So, as we mentioned earlier, we are looking at rewriting the code of ordinances, and this is something that we haven't gotten to yet. This is chapter 32, we're on 28. Perhaps we change that in the future and find a way to, go 50-50 on it or something along those lines. But there's such wording of failure or refusal to construct or repair, contractor's qualifications, and then there's the participation of the village in costs. The village may participate in the cost of the construction or repair of any sidewalk constructed or repaired under the provisions of this article. The village does so determine to participate in such costs, it shall notify the owner in the resolution. This would be the time to determine whether a resolution is required or necessary, based on the information you have in your packet. I sent the email hoping you had clarity on photos. West Bell photo 003 is from May 11th of 2023 at 12:22 p.m. and image 7367 is from the October 14th meeting. And Bell photo 002 shows you the area in question as well at 12:21. And that's the good thing about pre-construction videoing every address, every driveway, every crack, every sidewalk, just so that when these issues come up that we have some knowledge of what to expect and what was there.
We have two, looks like very large downspouts feeding into the area of question. Looks like from a neighbor.
It'll be hard to determine exactly the cause of it.
That's kind of where I'm.
Do you want some comment on that?
Sure.
The reason that sidewalk is down the way it is, the water runs from both angles, from work that had been done there prior. And when the work was done again, it was not raised to the level it was before. The pictures cannot show you the level that it was. And if you're looking at them, you'll see where the line went across and how much it's dropped. Now, they've dug that up several times over there between the phone, the water lines, 3 times have been dug on both sides of it, allowing that sidewalk to drop. That shouldn't be my expense when the DPW worked on it, and then what was there has not been brought back up to what was originally there. And you can look at from the angles that it's lower and the water's coming over, and it comes in from roughly 20 foot out to one area right where that post is, in that area, then it runs down. Now, I never had water running through there like a stream until this work was done on it. And the reason it catches down there is from previous work through the DPW, running water main lines through there. And phone and everything else has dropped that sidewalk.
So you're saying the downspouts have nothing to do with the water problem?
What's that?
Are you saying the downspouts don't have anything to do with the
The
water problem?
downspouts have been working, but they don't come out with water like comes through off that sidewalk. And that sidewalk was dropped because of the lines being dug up numerous times for the, going through there. And the settlements, the sidewalk, when they dig alongside it and partially under it, drops that sidewalk, and it's been happening for years there. And that's why the water comes from out at the road. I'm being told, well, what it should do is we should dig it down more and let it flow right down to the river. Well, it don't go to the river because Water Street's back there. Then it's gotta go through another individual's property to get to the river. Because the storm system that's back there doesn't drain well. Now, this was contracted through the village, so it's up to you. Like I say, that sidewalk is the issue, and it's not my fault that they've dug underneath there numerous times and around there and let that settle down, so that it funnels down and then over and through there. Now, that should have been about 4 inches higher, and it stopped it and it would soak away, but the sidewalk had water on it then, until it drained out into the soil. And that picture's not gonna show you exactly what was there before. You can look at the other side and see the height of the dirt over there. Over here, it's a lot lower now.
Is that new sidewalk in front of that?
Nope,
Not new?
nope.
Okay. I didn't know if they
No.
reported there or not.
No, they didn't report that part out.
Okay.
That's where you guys run the 2 inch across the road when it was freezing off, and you dug out the gas line when you went to, thaw it out.
Well, we've done a lot of work over there.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, the work over there is what caused that sidewalk to drop. And because it's dropped, it's funneling water to one area, and then it comes right down alongside my house.
I mean, it sounds like it's been going on, it's kind of all the problems like you have, I mean,
Well, I know,
Just-
I have a lot of that right around my house.
But come around when you didn't put it back where it was and tell me I need to put a sidewalk in, where it's come down from all the work that's been done around it.
How can we fix the sidewalk so it doesn't do that anymore?
It's gotta be raised up. That way it doesn't run to one spot, and then the other has to have the soil put back in that used to be there. Instead of just filling in where they dug and where they tracked through with the excavator back and forth and worked it down, they come in and dug a bunch of soil out and then put some more back on. I talked to them when they come back on the other side of the road and told them, they come over, they put some on, but they spread it so thin that it didn't build it up to where it was supposed to be. And it's still below what it was, and that's why it comes through on a heavy storm. I have no problem when it's soaked away in the ground. It's a heavy storm, and the way the sidewalk is, you can see, did they show the string on there and the depth of the sidewalk? That's from settlement, from being dug on both sides, doing water lines and other, whatever, the foams or whatever might have been done. It was that way when I moved in there. And it's only gotten worse to a small level, since then.
How many squares, what do you think it would take to fix it?
To fix what?
Your water
that
issue.
part on the sidewalk.
It needs, I don't know, but I think we figured it was gonna take about 3 inches solid after it settles to hold that water back where it was. And it has to go back in far enough.
3 to 4.
So this wasn't a problem, this was a problem prior to the phase one construction?
The water would hold out on the sidewalk, yeah,
Okay.
but then it would soak away. Now it doesn't soak away, it runs down.
The grade of the yard was brought down. the grass was above the sidewalk, it held the water on the sidewalk, it would slowly drain away. When they redid his yard, they put the grade down flush to the sidewalk, and there's not a berm there holding it back
Still
anymore.
above.
Pardon?
It's still above the sidewalk, the grass.
Yeah, you can see in the photos.
Okay.
Not by much.
In fact, the second photo looks higher than, and that could just be in the angles, obviously, but looks a little bit raised compared to the
If
first
you
one.
go over and look at it, you'll see how it dips. And it used to be up.
Mark, do you think fixing these two would,
No, because it flows down from the neighbor's probably front door maybe, I don't know, it flows down quite a ways.
And it flows from the
And
driveway
then it also
side
flows
too.
from his driveway that way, so I mean, it almost have to be, you know, probably from to his driveway to the almost neighbor's driveway. You know, 100 feet or better probably, to get it all running one direction.
And it's been dug up by the driveway, it's been dug up
Feet, that's more than 3/4
by the
square.
utility for the phone.
Should we just redo all the sidewalks down West Bell?
You know, that water's been going for years sitting out there, it drains away, the only thing is in the winter, you get a little ice on it, I normally run a snow thrower through it. To, you know, so it's, you can travel on it, but, this just flows right down. There's no reason I have to have water flowing in like that because of the work that's been done around it. Now, it's not just all from this last, it's from years of access and water lines being run through there, and equipment run back and forth through there alongside the house.
This letter from Mark Norton says that, I do not doubt that water runs along the side of his house during the heavy rain, however, I believe the downspout that is discharging roof runoff would be contributing to this issue significantly.
Yep.
The photo labeled Bell 002 shows that the entire northern side of the roof drains to the downspout that discharges next to the pedestal and sidewalk. I do not believe this issue was a result of the Phase 1 water project, rather that it has been an issue since before the project began.
so now it's prior to phase one.
It's the duty of, according to our ordinance, it's the duty of the owner to maintain the sidewalk.
As of right now.
You say as of right now?
In case it gets changed by the planning
There's
commission.
on the ordinance. No, especially if the planning
I never
commission's gonna go
realized
through
people
it. I'm wondering
took
if this
their
is-
own sidewalks and,
I don't
cause the
wanna push it
public
off on
uses
planning
them.
commission, but at the same time, if they're gonna rewrite it.
So would the
I don't want us to
phase two
agree to something and then all of a sudden it turns out that.
Up on that top, yeah, so it holds it back again, but then it's still gonna have water setting up there till it seeps up to,
I get it.
you know. You were there working on it when it was done.
Yep.
And it's been, I've been, what, 12 years here now, and it's been like that all along. And like I say, I know it's several times that it's been worked on and dug alongside where it's settled in more.
So this has been a chronic issue, and it's not because of this particular water phase program, it's because it's a chronic issue.
It is, the phase didn't put the soil back up to where it was. They dug it out and only put partial back in.
But this has been a deterioration for the last few years, I'm going by what I'm hearing from you.
Yeah, it was that way when I moved in.
Has that
And
down?
it has gotten a little worse every time they dig around it in the soil comes out from under it, it lets it settle more.
Has that downspout always been that way?
That downspout's been out there. It's not been a problem until they worked on the line this last time. And that was because the soil didn't get put back up to the height.
And I'm hearing that, but I'm also hearing though that it's a chronic issue. So it's a chronic issue and then this just made it that much worse? Or is it gonna continue to be worse because the downspouts are pointed right there?
The downspouts are back on the property, they're not out front. This water is coming from off the sidewalk and back through there because the soil isn't there to hold it back like it was.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
do you get water into your crawl space basement house then, when there's heavy rains?
I don't get that, it's in the spring when everything sweats that I get water and the sump pump takes care of it.
Okay.
But this was a stream running right down, and I'm being told by the contractor, well, we'll just dig it down some more and let it pour right through to the river. It's gotta go somewhere, so we'll let it go to the river. That's not an attitude for a contractor, when you're flooding somebody's yard. And when you're flooding somebody's yard, there are laws on it.
I get that. I also get though that, I mean, if you said it's like that when you first lived there and you've been there 12 years, and isn't there some negligence though if you're the homeowner supposed to be working on or keep that sidewalk up?
I asked for ordinances when I first come here, and I never got them. So it's a little hard to follow an ordinance that you can't proceed.
So you asked the village manager, planning commission for ordinances, and they couldn't give you any?
I went in and asked in the office to the manager. And I said, oh, there's too much on it.
Wasn't him probably. How many years ago?
No.
No. Wasn't
No, I
him.
would've printed that.
He would've had it like that.
I wouldn't have cared about that for you.
Uh-huh.
But with the
It's just a
sidewalks that
chapter.
are around in this village, you can't tell me that I should have to replace something that was that way before. And the work that's been done around there has been the issue.
Is there a way we can just fix that particular area without like doing half a sidewalk or anything?
Well, if you
Well, he said we had to do like 100 feet.
100 feet.
Right, but then Jason mentioned about if we were to add dirt to keep the water on the sidewalk longer, I don't know if that would help or not.
Well, I told you when you were there, if I brought it back up, I didn't have that problem of it
Okay.
running like a stream going down there.
So I guess that's what I would suggest, that if they're gonna do anything, just put some more dirt in,
Are there ways,
right on the roadside of by the pedestal there, but.
are there ways to raise sidewalks, like going
There are.
underneath
You
somehow?
There are.
Yeah, I don't know if that's,
Yeah, I just,
They do like put like foam down there and raise it up,
Mhm.
see the commercials.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
yeah, I just don't know if I would do anything.
Okay.
And your sump pump is handling it, correct? There's no, your crawl space basement, whatever you have, it's not.
I've got a crawl space in there, but that's in the front, I don't have a problem with that. The sump pump handles the rest of the basement.
So the yard is flooding, let's fix the yard. We'll start with dirt.
Yeah, I
see
mean,
what
that's
happens.
what I'm saying, is if he says it's flooding the sidewalk and then it overflows, I think is what I had understood when I was out there. Then when it gets so high, it will overflow into the grass and then run down.
Well, it soaks down.
Oh, I thought you said it was like a stream at times though.
Oh, but right now, then, let's get a heavy rain, it's like a stream running right down, constant down there. And like the point is, yeah, the roof is part of it with the downspout,
Yeah.
but, that was always running whenever it rained hard. And I didn't have a stream, now I have a
So we
stream.
did a couple inches of dirt in there.
It needs-
New topsoil and grass, seed.
It needs about, 3 to 4 inches once it's compacted.
Can I just,
Okay.
is there something wrong with the sidewalk?
It goes like
It's
this.
cracked. and
It's
there's-
Okay, but is there like one of those 1.5 inch things that people can trip on all that stuff.
There's a
going on.
gap with some grass growing through it that people could potentially trip on.
I was just curious, because it's the village's responsibility to send letters to people that have bad sidewalks. And at one point, we had a replacement program where we split it up in half, that's the best we've ever done. Other than that, it's the homeowner's responsibility. If there's nothing wrong with the sidewalk, I wouldn't even think about replacing the sidewalk. I would build a berm on the side of it to stop the water from going back in the yard.
That's what I'm thinking.
Unless the sidewalk's in bad shape, I'm not sure exactly what to do.
But that's the thing, is if you build up next to the sidewalk, it's going to potentially prevent some water from overflowing from the sidewalk down through his yard. You know, that's what his claim, that it would do that. It's still gonna hold water on the sidewalk, like you said, during the winter, it could potentially freeze. So that issue is still there on the sidewalk. It doesn't do anything for that.
That sidewalk ends about, what, 3 houses past you?
No, 4, 5 houses, I think.
It's not a sidewalk that goes all the way out, it's very, his sidewalk right in front of his house is nice, beyond that, it gets worse, and it just dissolves in the grass and there's no sidewalk there.
All grass, you said.
But I mean, you can see in the pictures, the grade, it's, you can't tell, to me, I can't tell which one was before and after construction, to be honest. It's hard to tell.
You can see the telephone unit is set higher and the 2 sides are lower, and that's where the water comes over and across.
If we decided to add dirt, how much are we talking? You know, a couple $100, more than that?
Nothing. Wouldn't take care of that.
Bart's
We
got
have
dirt.
dirt, we have rakes and shovels.
Is it the sidewalk to nowhere? Is that what it is?
Yes.
What if you just remove the sidewalk and plant grass?
Hey, it's a sidewalk to nowhere, then.
We just replaced the bunch.
Just replace the sidewalk with grass, just break up the sidewalk. It just ends to, like, it deteriorates, and it goes to nothing, the grass.
I mean, it's not affecting the house, it's just the yard.
Right.
And there's a lot of people in this town, this village, that have, your yard floods all the time, you know?
Right to my garage.
Yeah.
We have to pump out my
Yeah, I remember,
crawl space
uh,
all the time.
who's still right next to you, same thing?
Yep.
My whole block. Where's the line get drawn? Is the biggest thing.
We might have a fix on
You got dirt for that too?
it. We got cloth out of the catch basin though.
Yeah, maybe look into some
I mean, we can try
ways
dirt.
we can.
We can
If there's
try
no
it.
cost,
If
see
it-
what
Right,
happens. and-
just the sweat of your brow, Jason, just the sweat of your brow, it's all a cost.
Give it a go.
The gas in the machine.
Yeah. Use the gas. And the machine.
Alright, what we doing?
See if it fixes it, go from there.
Yeah, I don't wanna see him pay for it.
Need a motion for some dirt?
I'll make a motion that we have the good people. What's that?
Doesn't require a motion, just
Okay.
We'll just,
required attention.
Good to go.
Okay.
It's up to you right now, Jason.
Good man.
yeah,
Thank you.
this is a big conversation. Anyways.
Partner reports, DPW. DPW,
You want me?
you got a report?
Yeah, you,
Alright.
all this talking tonight, man.
Yeah, I was already up here. Water, last month in water, we pumped 4,270,000 gallons of water. We fixed the service line on Gilman Road and tried to find more shut-offs for special. Not having a problem. But we got a new metal detector, so that could help. Sewer, we pumped 4,041,000 gallons. Fixed the storm drain in the corner of Flint and Saginaw. patched up a bunch of holes in our lagoon dikes. Once we drain them, we can patch those up. Finish sampling and dumping the lagoons. Streets, we did routine maintenance, patched as needed, picked up trash. We dug asphalt out of the J Street, water break hole, and prepared that for the new asphalt that went in. Replaced stop signs, one on Maple and Locust. Removed all the flower pots from uptown. Watered trees, pulled weeds along the parade route, landscaped corner of Cole and Flint, and East Bell and Vine, trimmed trees on the highway between Maple and Flint. And in parks, Terry mowed leaves and spent a day weed whacking, removed the fishing pier and the kayak launch, built a new platform to store the kayak launch, pulled the pumps from the waterfall, and shut off and winterized all the parks. We had 20 service calls and 30 missed digs.
All right, so you say we. Who is we? You and who is?
Scott and Tyler.
Scott and Tyler, okay, so three of you. So are we still like with some you three? Is it working? I mean, you're getting a lot done. Yeah, you are.
We had a busy couple weeks. We had hydrants, we had meters, and we had these parks all going on, and we're all caught up, and we're gonna go on to bigger and better things. Get ready for Christmas.
So if we're working one or two less people, then you
Need a raise.
guys probably need a raise. Yeah.
One less.
One less? Yeah. Do we have anything in the works for salary, wages, evaluation, since we have 3 guys doing work of 4?
Yep.
We're gonna leave it
So,
that way.
random numbers, Tricia and I, depends on how much you wanna leave in the kitty for those water main breaks where we do hire city sewer, contingency if you will. And then the discussion could become, who gets the raise, just DPW, DPW police, DPW police office? And that's something we need to decide during the budget, which is starting this time.
We had 4 employees on the DPW before, right?
Correct.
So we're not going to hire a 4th one?
That is for you to determine. It appears that Mr. Thurston thinks that they can survive, and they've worked with 3 in the past.
We do have Terry that will come in and help on snow when needed, but he won't be any kind of full-time position. Aside from that, for the most part, it's manageable. When I started here, it was Tito, Hal, and I for quite a few
Right.
years before we hired anybody, so.
You guys do a great job.
But then, when you think about police, they're working without.
I know.
Right.
full
Totally.
staff
Bare
as
bones.
well.
Yeah.
And so, where do you create the dissension in the ranks? Or do you move everybody up together, or you try to level it out and start everybody at this number with the savings from not hiring that person, while leaving some money in contingency in case you have to water main breaks, et cetera? That's probably what I would suggest, is you move Lucretia, Marguerite, whoever, Skylar, Michelle, to a certain number, and as well as Tyler and Scott, so we're all kind of level playing field, go from there. There's no question, there are some, a lot that are underpaid. But that's where you gotta find your why. Are you here for the benefits, or are you here for,
My only thing with this whole thing is we have a great crew of 3. We all are very good at what we're doing. Once one of those pieces go away, me, in 7 years.
Right.
Now there's 2 guys and they're training a guy. It's a whole different dynamic.
and that's something.
Not good, that's something that in the future, a 4th man might be necessary.
And it's
Right
not
now,
like-
I don't think it is.
They're going to the academy and getting the training first before coming here. So that is the other issue that I brought up in the past is what happens. You know, okay, let's just say it's summer and vacation time, some water breaks, you got 2 guys.
well, we're gonna hire that out, okay, so there's that money from the contingency. Let's just, you know, I don't live in a world of hypotheticals, but that's something to consider.
You get the
Then you think
guys
about-
out here and.
Think about the secession plan. Next 10 years, 30% of the population is gonna retire. He's got 7. You know, I don't know how long Tyler plans on staying, I don't know how long Scott plans on staying.
Ideally, they have 20, but now they're training a guy opposed to having someone that knows.
And that's where we talked about trying to get with the school and maybe start a DPW summer help program. Where you can kind of weed out and figure out who you might wanna replace, and that's how he
Which is
started
what I
here.
want.
Obviously,
Yeah.
the school has some hiring to do in the near future to figure out if that's something
For
you'd
years.
be interested in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we got Tito.
It's- I was
Those
here
are-
in
those are big
93,
questions
94,
looming that are-
95 in the summer.
The numbers will be
worked
there.
from school.
It's not the savings that you expect, but it's
Come on
still
now.
savings.
Right.
I started when Hal started. Honestly.
So are you looking at doing this right now, or
I am not,
No.
when the next budget comes out?
yeah. Work on that as we go.
Mhm.
I know it sounds crazy, but I hope to have it to you in January. It's 2 months from now.
Thanks, Jason.
All right, thank you.
Police Department report.
All right, October was kind of a busy month. Call volume was a little bit up, not over the normal, but in terms of having to have a lot of stuff, extra stuff covered with just Michelle and I, with the haunted house and making sure coverage for that every night was a little hectic. Michelle picked up a lot of slack. She has been picking up a lot of slack, so we're very thankful for her. Ethan helped out a couple shifts, but he had started his new job, so he was not available a whole lot, so. But we're making it work. We did hire, like Hart said earlier, we hired another part-timer. It is Michelle's fiance. I know the family. I worked with his dad in Tuscola County for several years. And I knew Ryan for a little bit when I was in Millington while he was in training in Tuscola County, so. It's not somebody that we don't know. He's got 3 years' experience, prior experience of, he worked part-time in Conning, or still was until he came to us, and then he's full-time in Delta. So it's not somebody that we have to be on the road and train for very long. It's somebody that I can show the ropes, so this is where our boundaries are. This is our report system. Here's the keys, go do your job. So, his actual first shift is Friday morning. So if you see a new face, that's what that's him. It's Ryan. He said he's gonna take a little bit of time to figure out the report system because he's never used it before. So it'll be a little bit. And as I pointed stuff out to him, I said, well, don't worry, you're gonna forget everything I'm telling you right now. Just know that the boundaries are when you see the big sign that says Village Limits, go past that, unless you have to. So I think it'll work out. We'll get more shifts covered. He's the way his schedule comes from Delta, he gets first 2 weeks and then the last 2 weeks. So I don't really know what he's gonna do the rest of the month of November, but he'll pick up as soon as he's available. So call volume wise, nothing big. The 2 assaults were just schoolyard fights at the school. The larceny fraud is the same all in one report, but there's 2 charges because it has to do with identity fraud. The damage was at the school. That was a kid punching out a window. Animals at large was a dog fight. Nothing major. A lot of gun permits. I expect that number to go up in the next coming months, based on what happened with the election. Property checks are starting to flow in, the snowbirds are going out. Happens every year, nothing big. Yeah. Like I said earlier about the new computers, they're doing all new computers for the car, so it's no cost to us. We just have to take our vehicle to M&R and have them do it. And they'll do anything, there's no cost. It's just a new computer, new modem, and they just swap it out basically, so.
As far as Ryan, we discussed, my big thing is I don't want them working the same shift ever.
Oh, yeah.
And we said in the interview process that, you know, when she's home, you're gonna be here, and when you're home, she's, and vice versa. And he's like, yep. I said, maybe it'll keep you together longer, who knows? But that, at the same time, parades, old-fashioned Christmas, I'm okay with things of that nature, but other than that, boundaries.
Yeah, special events, like we discussed it, that'd be okay if it's a special event at the coal miners or something like that, where we gotta stand out there and greet kids and show them the cars, that's fine. You know, but nothing where they're gonna be in the office working, they'll see each other and switching shifts, and that's about it. So, they've understood that, and I stressed it to Michelle when we first started talking about this, cause she actually came to me about it, and I said, well, this is your full-time employment, if you want him to work here, we'll look into it, but this is, you know, I went through the steps with her, and come back to me in a day or so after thinking about it, and she's fine, I think she runs the household, but.
I'll let her know.
Well, I mean, when he comes in here, I just got done cleaning the floors, and they came in after shooting with Ethan, and he got dirt on my floor, I said, hey man, I just cleaned that, he goes, that's all right, I'm used to doing this, and he starts sweeping up stuff, I'm like, all right. And I joked, I said, you clean toilets? He goes, yeah, I clean toilets too, I'm like, gosh.
Hey, Chief,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Where's this destruction of tombs and memorials? What's
Which,
that about?
that's the MDOP, it just, that's what is added on there, it's also with that, but that's when the kid punched the window out of us, another car. Matt, they're fighting over a girl.
Chief Albert, thank you for keeping an eye on us on election day.
Absolutely.
Received a lot of compliments on that.
Yeah.
Building inspector.
Scott is hunting, so I apologize.
Public comment?
Yeah, I got it.
Thought I was on a roll.
No, is Kimberly Oak open?
No, they need to apply for a special use permit. This is, again, it's township property, so they have to apply to the township. The Kimberly Oaks is not in the village, the parking lot is. So they're trying to open as a banquet center, and they're working with the township to move forward with that.
Okay, I was just wondering if we was getting another new restaurant in town.
They're working on it, I guess the ball is in their court.
Okay.
But they have to shift their zoning after they shift it from golf course to ag and shift it to whatever it is to allow them to open as a banquet center.
We should put up like some putt-putt golf out there, you know, something for kids. Okay, well, putt-putt golf. Yes.
Public comment?
Yeah.
I want to say that this is the boringest meeting I've been to in a long time.
Hallelujah.
And I thank you for it. I also want to thank the DPW for all their hard work, fire department. We want to pray for Zach Tiley and help him any way we can. And, our police department, I want to thank them for all they do. And, just happy to be here tonight. It was wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're trying to butter us up for Christmas, aren't you?
I was gonna add at the end, there is a GoFundMe for Zach online, if anybody feels inclined to do so, help him out. There's a long explanation of why he needs the funds and what it would go towards. Thank you to the fire department as a separate entity from the village.
Yeah.
We good on public comment? Anybody else?